What's up world, what's up internet? I'm Deanna Jean Pierce and this is my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel I talk about all kinds of things, and today I want to talk about Montessori. If you don't know what Montessori is, just reading from AI Overview, Montessori is a child-centered educational approach developed by Italian physician Dr. Maria Montessori in the early 1900s. It focuses on self-directed activities, hands-on learning, and collaborative play, trusting children to act as active, motivated leaders in their own developmental journey. So some other things, core principles, it's child-led learning. Students choose activities based on their own personal interests and learn at their own individual pace. The prepared environment, classrooms featured child-sized furniture, open and accessible shelves, and tactile self-correcting learning materials. Mixed age classrooms, groups span multiple ages like 3 to 6 years old, allowing older children to mentor younger peers and build social leadership. The teacher as guide, instructors observe students and offer gentle direction rather than standing at the front of a room lecturing a passive group. No traditional grades. The system avoids standard testing and numerical grading, focusing instead on holistic, social, emotional, and cognitive growth. So another thing on AI Overview, it says that Montessori is a way of teaching children that lets them choose what they want to learn and work at their own pace. Created by Dr. Maria Montessori, it uses hands-on tools and real-life tasks to help kids grow into independent, confident thinkers. Now, all of this sounds really great, and I am not speaking from an expert perspective. I don't have my own children, unfortunately. And as far as working with children, I've only babysat and I've only worked in schools in the sense of being like a special education assistant or education assistant. But what I wanted to share, because I didn't share this when it happened to me, and I think it's really important and worth talking about. I am not going to name the name of the place, but I interviewed a couple of years ago for a job working at a place that basically uses Montessori method. I really wanted to work there. I was really passionate about it. I was offered a job. But something happened that I want to share because I would love to have a conversation about this. So I shadowed somebody for about, 5 to 10 minutes in my process of being interviewed for the job. While I was shadowing, basically I saw someone who worked there, and she was outside with a child. The child tripped and fell, and my instinct when I was shadowing was I started like going, oh gosh, to like comfort the child. But the woman interviewing me said, no, stop and watch. And I was like, and I and the child, got up and kept on playing. And when I talked to the woman who was interviewing me, she said, yeah, we don't want to I guess, I don't know what her exact wording was, but she was like, we don't want to make the child think there's a bigger problem than there is. And we don't want to be like, oh, poor you, and go comfort the child. We want the child to pick themselves up and keep moving, and not really, basically, I guess almost in a way introduce them to the idea that they had fallen over. But so after this job interview, I came home to my apartment where Dan and I were living in Madison at the time, and I had an autistic breakdown. I started screaming, I started crying, I collapsed to the floor and started rolling around, because the entire time that I had been at the job interview, I had been masking. And the fact that I couldn't follow my natural instincts to comfort this child who had fallen over was so insidious to me and so bizarre to me that I could not go deeper with this place. I did get a job offer and I ultimately turned it down. Now, a friend I was talking to at the time said, Deanna, that's not what all Montessori method is like. That's not the only Montessori method. That's not necessarily all that Montessori is. And understand that that was my only interaction with Montessori that I have ever had. But it is worth talking about, because what God has been telling me is that you can misuse Montessori just like you can misuse anything, and you can traumatize children. I went back to working in a school as an education assistant in a normal capacity after that. And in traditional schools, you have all of the teachers and all of the education assistants and all of the staff. They're constantly talking about the kids and how they can help the kids more. If someone falls and scrapes their knee, a child can come to you for comfort, and you just pull a Band-Aid out of your fanny pack and give it to them, and you can offer comfort. It felt so bad to me that if a child fell, that I would have to just stand back and watch them. That's not how I was raised, and that's not how I would raise a child. I think that Montessori method, just from that short experience I had, my take on it is that if it's corrupt and if it is done incorrectly, it's an excuse for people to be lazy and apathetic, and you can really traumatize the child. I personally prefer to be deeply comforted when I trip and fall, and I think everyone prefers that. It seemed pretty sociopathic to me to stand there and watch the child pick themselves back up, because then what you're creating for this child is the sense that there's no one that's going to be there for them except for them. And that's really not okay. That's not normal. That's not healthy. I personally am a very hands-on person when it comes to children. I would want someone to be very hands-on with me. Now, this is different than someone crossing your boundaries or getting in your auric field when you don't want that. That's different. But everyone needs co-regulation, and everyone needs to be taught about their world. For example, when I was young and I fell, I was practicing for a track meet in my backyard, and cartilage ripped out of my knee, and I tripped and fell, and I started screaming and crying. My mom came rushing out to me, and she took me to the hospital. And now I'm not accusing this place of abusing children. Don't twist my words. I just thought that was extremely unnatural and weird. I thought that was extremely bizarre behavior that I don't stand by, I don't stand with. I would love to hear other people's perceptions and experiences with Montessori. Obviously, when I read about Montessori, there are a lot of good things that I like in theory. And I do like anything that is more modern and more personal and more loving, but even that one experience made me feel really uncomfortable. I felt like I had to be a sociopath to work there, because I would want to scoop the child up and hold them and comfort them when they fell. And to not be able to do that is really not an integrity for me, and it doesn't feel quite right to me. So I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about Montessori method. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and if you're interested in this kind of content, please subscribe.